rolls out of this book, America's Test Kitchen, the complete baking book for young chefs. I'm going to be on page 72 for cinnamon rolls. So I'm going to be working through this entire book with all of its recipes and techniques. And today we're going to start with the cinnamon rolls. For this book, if you see on the side 3 hats, that means it's a difficult recipe. So this is a bit more of a difficult recipe. You'll also see either a microwave, oven, or a knife. This one doesn't need a knife. And so this, and if you see 2 chef's hat, it means it's a little bit more simpler. And if you see 1 chef's hat, it means it's a simple recipe. So to get started, you are going to want 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. You're also going to want 1 1/2 teaspoons of instant or rapid rise yeast. You're going to want 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and for your wet ingredients, you're going to want 1 large egg, 1/2 cup of room temperature water, and I suggest for getting it at room temperature to on your kitchen sink, if you just pull the knob about halfway between hot and cold water, and then leaving this out for about 30 minutes to an hour to get to room temperature completely. You're also going to want 1/2 stick or 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, softened, and you're going to want to cut into 4 pieces, so I suggest cutting it down long ways and then down sideways. So to get started, we're going to mix our flour, yeast, salt, and sugar into a large mixing bowl or stand mixer. After you've done that, you're going to mix in your wet ingredients. So you're going to mix in your egg, room temperature water, and butter into your flour mixture. After you have mixed your dough, you're going to put the hook setting onto your stand mixer, and you're going to mix this and knead it on high speed, medium-high speed, for 8 minutes. After you've mixed your dough for about 8 minutes in your stand mixer, you're going to want to take your dough either on a floured surface. I don't usually do it because the dough isn't that sticky, and you only do it for about 30 seconds. So you're going to take your dough and you're just going to knead it for about 30 seconds with your hands, just folding and pressing. Okay, so after you've done that, you're going to, in your bowl, spray it down with vegetable oil spray. If you don't have vegetable oil spray and you're just using vegetable oil, you can just put a little dot of it in and use a pastry brush to paint it along the bowl. So I'm just going to do that. And you're going to take your dough and shape it into a small ball, just as far as you can get it. And you're going to take it and you're going to place it into your bowl, and you're going to cover it with plastic wrap or a towel for an hour to an hour. So while your dough is rising and it's about done, you need to take 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1 1/4 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and this is to make the filling for your cinnamon rolls. You're going to take 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Next, you're going to take a whisk, or in my case, a large serving fork, and you're just going to mix that down for a little while this gets mixed. And you just want to kind of smash some of the big chunks down and toss it in the melted butter until all of it is dark brown chunks of your mixture. And for the brown sugar, when it's all clumped up like that, just take your fork or your whisk and just smash those down and keep mixing until they've all come together. Just like that. I've just gotten this to a 16 by 8 inch square. And so I have 1 tablespoon of melted butter right here, and with a pastry brush, I am just going to leave a 1 inch mark in between, and I'm going to paint this along my dough until I've completely covered it with the melted butter. This will make the filling stick and also leaves a very gooey finish into the middle of your cinnamon rolls. So just get that all the way marked across your dough. Just like that. Okay, after you've done that, you're going to take your filling that we made earlier and give it a little bit of a toss so that it doesn't do that. And with your hands or with a bench scraper, you're just going to scrape this in and drizzle across your dough and pat it down. Again, leaving that 1 inch mark for the roll on the very top, ends, and bottom. So dump that on and smear it across just like this and pat it down. It smells so cinnamony and so sweet. Okay. And getting that all the way across. And patting it down will keep it so when you're rolling it, it will not release and spill while you're making it, which can be really hard when you're making cinnamon rolls. Okay, so once you've filled in all the spots with the filling, leaving a pretty decent edge mark for your roll, and you're just going to go back around and pat it down really well so that it can stay well in just like that. And you're going to continue doing this until you feel like you have left a good mark in between your dough on all sides and pat it down. After you've packed everything down, you want to take a 9-inch circular metal pan and you want to spray it down with vegetable oil spray and to match the bottom with a circular 9-inch parchment paper. I don't have parchment paper or a 9-inch circular pan, so I'm going to be using a glass 9-inch square pan. For these, if you have them, you're going to want to use a little bit more vegetable oil spray. So just take this, make sure it's dry, and spray it down. Just like that. So now that you've done that, and it's next to you, you're going to take your cinnamon rolls and you're going to cut down and leaving little edged marks where you will cut. Then you're going to roll it tightly away from you, just like that. Then you're going to place them in your pan and keep doing that, cutting it, lifting it, and tightly packing and rolling them. And you want to leave a little gap for each one while you do it. And again, pack and roll. So I will do 3 in each row, and this makes 8 or 9. And you're just going to continuously, until all your dough's gone, using your ribbed edges that you've already cut, and just like that, place them back in, cut, lift, and tightly pack and roll. And again, pack it and roll it. The nice thing about this dough is that it does not run out of filling very fast, and it also is very easy to roll, and it doesn't fall, and the filling does not fall out, and the dough just holds it in really tight. Right, the last one, and just take any extra filling that fell on around and collect it and press it in. Just like that. And pack it and roll it. And the end pieces are always a little bit smaller than the rest of them, and a little bit longer. It's okay because you can smash it a little bit, and it should be okay. 30 minutes, you're going to cover these and let them rise. After you've let your dough rise for about 30 minutes, you're going to have it look something like this. So you're going to preheat your oven to 325 degrees, and you're going to bake these for 40 to 45 minutes until they're golden brown on top and they've expanded. Also, you should have your rack of your oven adjusted to about the middle. Next, what we have to make is the glaze for our cinnamon rolls. To make this, you're going to want to start with half a cup of powdered sugar and 2 tablespoons of whole milk. If you want to make a frosting, I suggest using a little bit more milk and a bit more powdered sugar. To do that, I would start with just starting with this and making the glaze and slowly adding tablespoons of powdered sugar to it, and whenever you need to, add a splash more of milk. I'm just going to go with a simple glaze. So to our powdered sugar, you're just going to add your milk, and with a fork, you're just going to whisk it until it's well combined and is a thick glaze. And you want to kind of press it down, and you want to have your fork on the bottom, press and whisk. This way you will have no powdered sugar stick to the bottom, and it will all mix together smoothly. Okay, we just took these out of the oven, and they are super hot, but they smell amazing. So they should look something like that. And we are going to let these cool, and then we're going to glaze them. Now that our cinnamon rolls have completely cooled, we are going to drizzle our glaze over it. So I like to first go this way, and then that way. And just scoop it until you run out of glaze. And there you go. Our beautiful cinnamon rolls. Watching The Sugar Show. If you want to subscribe to this channel, click the link below. If you want to buy this book, click the link to Amazon to buy it. Thanks, guys. Bye.